From the smoky underworlds of Naples to the cartel-ridden streets of Mexico City, gangland violence has morphed into an international plague. Borders no longer matter. Enemies travel oceans. Weapons cross continents. And hits are broadcasted through the bloody echo chambers of social media. These aren't movie plots. These are real people with real families, falling victim to a life they once controlled. And the latest chapter in this international saga? Spain's Costa del Sol, where a warm Mediterranean breeze now whispers tales of bloodshed. On May 31, 2025, two Scottish gangsters, Ross Monahan and Eddie Lyons Jr., were gunned down in a brazen, cinematic hit in the middle of a crowded bar during one of Europe's most watched sporting events. This wasn't just a crime, it was a statement. A message sent across rival networks and whispered through the ranks of criminal empires from Glasgow to Dublin. Whether you're a hardened follower of gangland politics or just stumbling into this story, what happened in Fuengirola is more than a local tragedy. It's a chilling reminder of how far and wide the shadow of organized crime stretches. So, who were Ross Monahan and Eddie Lyons Jr.? And why did unaliving chase them down to the sun-drenched streets of Spain? Let us get into today's story. It was supposed to be a night of celebration, the Champions League final, the kind of evening where expats and locals crowd bars, cheer goals, and soak up the coastal energy of Fuengirola. But at Monahan's Irish bar, the match was overshadowed by unaliving. As the game played on TV screens and drinks clinked across tables, a masked gunman stepped into the pub like a ghost. Without a word, he opened fire. The shots rang out with surgical precision. Tourists ducked under tables. Blood splattered across walls. In under 30 seconds, Monahan and Lyons lay unalived on the floor. This wasn't random violence. It was an execution. Witnesses described the gunman as calm, focused, and fully aware of his targets. Monahan was hit at close range. Lyons, caught in the chaos, was struck fatally as well. The killer vanished into the Spanish night as swiftly as he appeared. In a town better known for sangria and sunshine, a new headline took over. Gangland double unaliving stuns Costa del Sol. For those watching from Glasgow, it was both shocking and expected. For Spanish authorities, it marked yet another reminder that the Costa del crime was alive and thriving. What seemed like a bar shooting was actually the climax of a years-long criminal journey that began thousands of miles away. While both men were unalived, Spanish investigators were quick to clarify Monahan was the real target. Forensics confirmed at least 4 bullets were fired into his body, tight groupings, chest and head shots. This was personal, precise, assured. Monahan wasn't unalived in a crossfire. He was unalived in a planned assassination. So why was Lyons Jr. unalived too? Police believe he was collateral damage, caught in the wrong place at the worst possible time. Yet, some speculate his unalived might have been intentional too. A warning to his bloodline, a message to the wider Lyons faction. After all, in the world of organized crime, guilt often runs in families. What's chilling is the confidence with which the hit was carried out. The shooter knew exactly when to strike, when the bar was full, when the noise of football chants could mask gunfire, and when security would be most relaxed. That suggests surveillance, insider information, and careful timing. In short, this was no lone wolf act. It was a hit, likely approved by shadowy figures far from Fuengirola. For Monahan, a man who once dodged being unalived in Scotland, the past had finally caught up, guns blazing. Monahan was not just a name on a police watch list. He was a power player in Glasgow's criminal underworld, a known associate of the infamous Lyons crime family. He operated with influence and confidence, expanding his reach beyond Scotland and into continental Europe. But what made him even more significant was his connection to one of the world's most feared drug cartels, Ireland's Kinahan cartel. Monahan served as a crucial bridge between the two syndicates. With his local knowledge and international reach, he helped facilitate drug routes, cash laundering, and weapons logistics across the UK and Spain. His ties to the Kinahans meant he was both powerful and a threat. As European law enforcement began tightening the noose around organized networks, men like Monahan became high-value targets, not just for cops, but also for rival gangs eager to claim territory or settle old debts. These alliances and enmities meant Monahan's presence in Spain wasn't a quiet retirement. It was active involvement. He wasn't hiding. He was still operating, still pulling strings, still being watched. In criminal hierarchies, this level of power rarely ends in peace. It ends in betrayal, blood, or prison. For Monahan, it was the second. This wasn't the first time someone tried to take Monahan's life. In January 2017, on the cold streets of Glasgow, Monahan narrowly escaped unaliving in one of the city's most brazen assassination attempts. He was dropping his child off at St. George's Primary School in Peenalee when a man approached with a pram, concealing a loaded firearm. With terrifying calm, the man pulled the weapon from beneath the baby carrier and fired. Monahan was hit in the shoulder but survived. It was a message and a warning. The audacity of the hit, at a primary school, in broad daylight, shocked the public and law enforcement. But within gang circles, it cemented Monahan's status. He was being hunted. Not long after, he fled to Spain, a place where many British criminals seek refuge. The Costa del Sol offered son, anonymity, and access to European drug routes. But as history shows, the past doesn't forget, and neither do enemies. That first failed hit marked a turning point. Monahan knew the game had changed. He wasn't just a player anymore. He was a target. To understand why Monahan's unaliving matters, you have to go back to one of Scotland's longest-running gang feuds, the brutal rivalry between the Lyons and Daniel crime families. Decades of tit-for-tat violence, car bombs, shootings, and stabbings have defined this feud. It's been waged on Glasgow's streets, but its consequences have reached Spain, Holland, and even Dubai. Monahan was part of the Lyons faction, a group known for its firepower and connections. The Daniels, meanwhile, have their own allies and international ties. These aren't simple street gangs. These are multi-million-pound enterprises, complete with hierarchy, logistics, and transnational links. When Monahan relocated to Spain, he didn't just bring his family, he brought the war with him. Fuengirola, Marbella, and Malaga became chessboards for criminal strategy. The Costa del Crime isn't just a nickname, it's a dark truth. British gangsters buy villas next to palm trees and continue orchestrating violence across Europe. Monahan's unaliving then isn't isolated. It's part of a bigger war, one that shows no signs of ending. In the aftermath of the double murder, the Lyons clan wasn't just mourning, they were asking questions. How did the shooter know where Monahan would be? Why strike during the final? Why then? Why that place? The answer, insiders suggest, may lie in betrayal. There's growing belief that someone close to the gang tipped off the killers. An insider. Perhaps it was a disgruntled ally. Maybe someone working with authorities. Or worse, a trusted friend turned informant. These kinds of betrayals aren't uncommon in gangland circles. As law enforcement applies pressure, loyalty starts to crack. Paranoia grows. And sometimes, unaliving becomes not just strategic, but personal. Within the Lyons camp, whispers of a mole have turned into full-blown suspicion. It's not just about finding out who fired the gun. It's about unmasking who opened the door. Trust is currency in this world. And when it's broken, the results are always deadly. Spanish investigators moved quickly. Interviews were conducted. CCTV footage gathered. Surveillance traced. And by early June, authorities announced they were close to identifying the unaliver. But while the hitman might be unmasked soon, the bigger question remains. Who ordered the hit? That's where the trail gets murkier. The murder could have been orchestrated by rival Glasgow factions, internal Lyons defectors, or even outside cartels with scores to settle. In the world of organized crime, motives overlap, alliances shift, and silence is currency. Still, the Spanish National Police remain confident. Sources suggest they're working with Europol and British counterparts to crack open this web of violence. But justice in this world is slow, and often, it's meted out by gangs before the courts ever get a chance. After the smoke cleared, and the bodies were flown back to Scotland, another powerful player stepped forward: the Kinahan cartel. According to reports, senior Kinahan members have offered support to Monahan's family, both financially and logistically. That move is telling. It shows the cartel not only backed Monahan during his life, but views his unaliving as an attack on their network. And that means one thing: retaliation may be coming. The Kinahans aren't just any cartel. They are one of Europe's most dangerous, with operations spanning South America to the UAE. Their involvement hints that this unaliver wasn't just a personal vendetta. It was a blow in a much bigger war. For authorities, it's a worrying development. For rival gangs, it's a warning. And for Monahan's loved ones, it's a glimpse of the world he never truly escaped. Ross Monahan and Eddie Lyons Jr. lived in a world that doesn't allow for easy exits. For years, they moved through violence, alliances, and betrayal, rising to power, evading justice, and eventually falling victim to the very system they helped build. Their unaliving aren't just the end of two lives. They're the latest chapter in a bloody, borderless saga that ties Glasgow's rainy streets to Spain's sun-kissed shores. Thank you for watching. If this story gave you insight into the dark reality behind organized crime, leave a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you never miss a story like this. Stay safe and stay aware.